So, today we're using the softball. I know some of you have them, but quite a few people do not have the softball. So I thought we'd do a little segment on YouTube rather than the Zoom classes. So if you have a softball, it's soft. You don't need to blow it up hard. It's a bit squidgy, which is fine. That's what we want. So the first thing we'll do is just find neutral spine. If you'd like to pop the softball under your tailbone, we're laying flat with, of course, the normal Pilates posture. So softball under the tailbone, you've got your feet flat, knees bent, little gap between your feet, little gap between your knees, and just do a pelvic tilt, tilting up one way and come back to the centre, and then tilt the other way and come back to the centre, and just do a couple of those, get the feel of the ball. When you come back to the centre, that should be your neutral spine. And one more. And then this sideways movement is a little unusual. Keeping your knees still, just drop one hip down to the side and come back to the centre. And then we go the other way, just dropping one hip down and come back to the centre. Try not to let your knees move or it turns into a sort of a hip twist. So keeping nice and stable, just letting one hip drop to the side and returning, and then the other way. And then we'll put it all together. Pretend you've got a clock, and number 12 is where your navel is, number 6 is where your pubic bone is, and you've got 3 and 9 on the sides there, on your hip bones. So if you do a little pelvic tilt up to 12, drop one hip down to 3, little pelvic tilt down to 6, and one hip down to 9. So it's kind of like a clock face. It's a bit of a wobbly clock face with the sides going down. And then if we go the other way round, just a little circular movement. And just one more. Now, if you've got your hips up in the air, don't use a pillow. Keep your head flat on the mat. If you'd like to take the ball away. And we'll come over onto our sides. Right, now this first one, you've got your ball between your knees. You've got the feet together. Now on this, you can use a little pillow if you want to. You can put your head on the pillow or on your arm, whichever's comfortable. Try and keep nice alignment with your neck if you can. So you've got feet together, knees together, and all we're doing is rolling the ball forward. It's a very small movement, hardly any movement at all, but just stretching the lower back, rolling that ball forward, and then rolling it back again. So breathing out as you roll, and breathing in as you come back. We'll just do 3 more of those. You can always do more, if you want to go through this one. Now, it's important to try and keep your feet together. Try not to let your feet come apart. It is an odd feeling movement. It's slightly different, not quite what we normally do. And then we'll finish that one off. The next one is more like the normal clams that we do. So you're just lifting the knee up and then squeezing the knees back together again. Again, it's a small movement. If you make it too big, chances are you lose the ball. So just keep in contact with the ball. So just lifting and squeezing. So using your inner thighs as you squeeze, and you're working around the hip. And just do one more of those. And then the third one is with your all between your feet. This is the performing seal one. So knees down towards the mat and feet up towards the ceiling, and then just opening out that top knee, breathing out and breathe in as you close it again. So again, we'll aim for 5 of them. You can always do more, when you're going through it on your own. So try and keep those feet up in the air. The underneath knee stays down on the mat. Now just one more. And then we'll just draw those knees in. We'll roll over onto the second side. We'll do those 3 on the second side. Now remember, this first one is a very small movement. You've got your feet together, you want to keep those feet together so they don't move at all. Keep the top hip forward over the bottom hip, and just this very slight movement, just stretching forward so you feel the stretch in your lower back, and then come back to where you started. Aim for about 5 of those. And of course, when you've done, you can always do 10 repeats instead. And we'll do one more. And then the next one was clams. So you've got your feet together, knees together, keeping this top hip forward, and just lifting up the top knee and then squeezing the knees together. Breathing in as you lift, breathing out as you squeeze. We do 2 more of those. And then the third one was ball between the feet, knees together, lift the feet up towards the ceiling, and then lifting the top knee, breathing out, and breathe in as you lower. And we're aiming for about 5 of those. Try and keep the shoulders down. Try and breathe into the ribs, waist drawing away from the mat, pelvic floor muscles lifted. You've heard it all before. And one more, we'll finish that one off. And then if you draw your knees in, and we'll just take the ball away and have a little stretch. And then we'll do the 100. So this is a core strength exercise, and it is actually harder with the ball. So you might like to have a go at that one. I'll do it the other way around, I think. Get rid of that. Again, if you've got your hips up in the air, don't use a little pillow, if you can at all help it. So the first level of the 100 will have the ball underneath your tailbone. And again, feet flat, knees bent, gap between your feet, gap between your knees. We breathe in to prepare, breathe out, lift the leg up, and we hold that position for up to 10 breaths. Now at the same time, you've got your pelvic floor muscles drawn up, you've got the navel in and up and diagonally back to the backbone. Stretch across the chest, keep the width across the chest, keep your neutral spine. So aiming for 10 breaths, breathing fully into the ribs, expanding the ribs sideways and downwards into the mat. And then when we've done about 10 breaths on one side, we'll do the same on the second side. So when you want to change legs, you breathe in to prepare, you breathe out as you lower that leg down, breathe in to prepare again, breathe out, second leg comes up, and then we hold the second side for up to 10 breaths. So keep breathing fully, make sure you breathe out fully, very important to breathe out fully. And then if we finish that one off, next level is really quite hard, so good luck with it. Again, you've still got your ball under your tailbone, but there's both legs up this time. So you breathe in to prepare, breathe out, float one leg up, breathe in, breathe out, float the second leg up. There should be a gap between your feet, gap between your knees, and we hold this position for up to 10 breaths. So again, quite challenging this one. Drop one foot back down to the mat at any time, or stop and stretch out at any time. I think the first time you do this, it is so difficult, but you are really using your core, really using your centre to keep your balance on the ball. And then if we go on to the next level, now if you're very brave, you could keep the ball where it is and do the beating with the ball under your tailbone. Or a slightly easier option, perhaps, is to have the ball between your shoulder blades, so your head and shoulders are off the mat, and then you can either choose, you could keep one foot on the mat if you want to, that's the easier option, or you can have both legs up to tabletop position, or you could have straight legs, or you could have legs angled away. So whichever's for you, lengthen these fingertips away and up to 10 breaths with the beating. The arms are straight, it's as if you're patting water. And it still has its challenges with the ball behind your shoulder blades. So don't forget, you can stop and stretch out anytime you want to. And then if we finish that one off, and actually we will have a little stretch. So just stretch the legs away, stretch the arms overhead for a full body stretch. We'll just stretch the glutes. And the other side. And then we'll just stretch the inner thighs, so toes together. Draw your legs down to your body. And stretch the inside of the thighs. And then we'll pop the knees back together again. Roll on onto your side. And there we are. I hope that's given you a few exercises that you can have a go with the ball. You know, give you a bit of variation in what you're doing. Thank you for watching. See you soon.